Hi Libra, welcome to your reading and welcome to my channel. Well Libra, normally I do reads for Virgo, but once in a while I get my inspiration and my guide suggests that I do readings for other signs, and this is one of those moments. So welcome to my channel. Before I begin, Libra, I would like to remind you that I have my own style of reading tarot. And here's where I use a combination of astrology with numerology and tarot to decipher information and energy. Now, I have to tell you, I'm not an astrologer nor a numerologist. So a lot of what I share with you is just based on pure inspiration, and once in a while I kind of do a little bit of digging, trying to figure out some of these terms that the oracles talk about. But other than that, I'm just channeling information, okay? All right, Libra, so let's begin. Oh, and please, if for whatever reason I call you Virgo, I'm not reading for Virgo, I'm reading for Libra. It's just a habit, and sometimes my mouth tends to repeat things that it's not necessarily what my brain is saying, so be patient with me, okay? All right, Libra. So Libra, in this particular moment, your mind is being affected by the 11th house. And if you notice, this card is upside down. Normally it's like this, and it's like this. So we're dealing with the dark side of the 11th house. And this is the house that deals with, as far as astrology goes, it deals with friends, group settings, big business, doing things for the sake of, the collective. It's a house that talks about expansion, and usually it's an expansion that breaks paradigms, because this is about really diving into the unknown and taking a risk. It's big energy. This house is ruled by Uranus and Saturn. Very interesting combination, because these are very opposite energies. It's kind of like Venus and Mars. Your ruler right now is in Taurus, working with Mars. Two energies that are very opposite in nature. It's like one is kind of like the gas pedal, while the other one is the brakes. So you kind of wonder, well, how is it that the 11th house, ruled by Aquarius, right, has two different life forces that are so different ruling the house? It's kind of like a Gemini, but in a different way, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so it's higher wisdom. This one, you're talking about two bodies, two celestial forces that are so different. But anyways, let me stop going that way and let me just get to the point. So as you can see, the symbology of this card is about stretching our limits. It's like moving beyond our limits. We're being stretched. This is an energy that it's about moving beyond our paradigm. And in your heart, you have this term, astrological term, that I don't know if I'm going to say it right. Remember, I'm not an astrologer, okay? It's called Imun Coeli. Imun Coeli. Imun Coeli? Or Colai? I don't know. But anyways, this is a term that is used in astrology to relate to our foundation. So it talks about, you can find this in your natal chart when you do your natal chart in astrology. And it's basically the life force that you receive on your mother's side. This particular term relates to Cancer, sign of Cancer, and the ruler is the moon. So it has to do with the 4th house in astrology. And it's very interesting, Libra, because on June 15th, we're going to have a new moon in Cancer. And that's going to be a very special moon because it's going to tie us, or it's going to connect us deep into the connection that we have on our mother's side. It actually, I was looking into this because it's just amazing when you follow your instincts and you're curious about understanding certain things at other levels, how the universe guides you to find that information. And sometimes it happens in the most unexpected way, just like Uranus here, just like it's happening to you here. You're going to be going through a cycle right now where you're going to find a lot of things unexpectedly, like where you least expected to find it, boom. And it's going to happen in ways where you're not going to feel very comfortable, because that's the thing about Uranus in relationship to Jupiter. Jupiter is all about expansion in the same way that Uranus is, but Jupiter is nice. Oh yeah, Jupiter is always really nice about it. But Uranus can come and it's like a volcano eruption, a volcanic eruption. It's devastating. So in the most uncomfortable ways and in the most uncomfortable situations, you can find an illumination. And it's what's going to help you to break through whatever it is that you need to overcome. You know, it's about moving through and going beyond what you're accustomed to do. You know, this reminds me of this plant used in Africa to help people with addictions. And it's called ibogaine. You can do microdose, or you can actually go to a retreat, and you have to go through all of these different things because it's really a dangerous drug. I mean, plant, not drug, plant medicine. And can you compare it to ayahuasca? Not really. It's very different. Ayahuasca is more of a feminine energy. Ibogaine, ooh, that shit is tough. I mean, it's usually given to people that have addictions with heroin. And you know, those people have a really difficult time sometimes breaking through their addictions. But it's known that when they do this treatment of ibogaine or iboga, it's enough. I mean, one of those treatments, and it's enough to break through the habits, to break through the addiction. That's how powerful this medicine is. I feel like this is very similar. Of course, you got to remember that although the cosmos is infusing you with all of this energy, you decide how much you can take. But here's the thing. Look at this combination. So you have this Imun Coeli, which is representing your I'm trying to translate things to English that I said in Spanish, and it's sometimes difficult to switch. By the way, we're having fireworks because it's the 4th of July. It's Independence Day in the United States when I'm, doing this video. So right now they're going off like crazy. So your family tree, right? Because Cancer and the moon in astrology represents your connection to your mother's side. This particular term, look it up, it's specifically talking about your roots, the foundation of your lineage. Okay? The core values that you've been taught as a child, and they're part of your subconscious mind, is the knowledge or the definitions that have helped you shape your life in the way you have lived it. I am sorry, guys. This is so annoying. I know, but it is what it is. I decided that I'm going to do this because my mom is not here, so I have to take advantage of the time. All right, so this term is going really deep within ourselves to our roots and checking out our core values. And as you can see, when we look at the 11th house here upside down is like, is showing me how it's sort of stretching and expanding your family tree, probably the center of your being, so that you can go deep within yourself into your core values and discover there the belief systems that you've been using to create the reality that you have lived and the reality that you are living, and determine whether those beliefs are the ones that you need in order to expand. Wow, this is intense. Libra, this is really intense. The energy that is in opposition, and I'm being told in this particular moment to not see it as negative polarity, see it as the unknown, just like Uranus. You have Mars. Mars at the moment is working with Venus, your ruler, in Leo, the sign that represents our passions, our joy. And I think those two, and I don't really get focused in the transits or the behavior of those two planets in that particular sign, but I do focus more on the frequencies and the vibrations of these energies. And if you have Venus and Mars, two energies that are totally opposite in nature, working in Leo, I can tell you that you are receiving a support here of energies that are going to be more loving, more nurturing, but also stronger in the way of motivating you to achieve the change that you need to achieve. Because here's the thing, Libra. Taurus is the sign that represents our capabilities, our gifts, not just the ones that we go to school and learn. It also relates to the ones that we bring in our DNA, inside our genetic codes, inside of our DNA. Okay? And these are abilities that, you know, many generations before you, your family members, use to survive in society. Now, the other thing that we are activating right now in this time of evolution, which in astrology is connected to Aquarius. We're in the era of Aquarius. And we know that it's the era of innovations, of change, transformation, major change and transformations in the structures and the nature of our reality. Big change. Another thing that, I lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. What was the point that I was trying to make? Come on, you guys, help me out. So I was talking about Aquarius, you know, being an innovator. And, so Taurus, right? Normally in astrology represents our money, our finances, financial stability. But energetically, we have to translate that information into something that makes sense. And what I was giving was our skills. So in this new era of transformation, as we are working with information that is completely different to the ones that we're used to, we have to receive the knowledge to help us understand who we are as energy beings, right? It's kind of like if you're going to take a job that is going to be about running a company, you're going to require to go through a training that will allow you to understand how to do that. Even if you went to school and learned it in theory. Because doing something and learning something are two different things. So right now, we have the opportunities to understand who we are because we have access to that information in ways that we didn't do before. So we have to actualize a lot of who we are as energy beings, you know, and as we become more aware or self-aware of who we are, then our DNA starts changing and it starts, you know, recalibrating itself to adapt to that information and especially to the frequencies of that information. You understand that so far? So when we are working with energies that are so different than the ones we're used to, our bodies will change. And what allow us to adapt to that change is our DNA. And that's where our spiritual technology is hidden or is saved. And that's where we're going to, you know, activate our capacity to telepathically receive information, which we're already doing, but we're not self-aware that we're doing it. But we're going to do it now more, being fully aware that I am connecting with you and I can read and I can receive what you're telling me without words. There's where we're going to activate the codes that allow us to be more telepathic, more psychic, more clairvoyance, clairaudience, astral project, lucid dream, all of these abilities that we have in our vehicle that allow us to operate at other levels that represent our multidimensional nature, but normally we don't see them because we're more physical focused, and we normally are operating at a level where we're sort of clueless of what's going on, I should say, what's going on with our energies. That is all changing, Libra. It's all changing, and it's changing slowly, but it's changing. But I feel like some of you already know this. Otherwise, you wouldn't have these two energies here, cosmic energies, creating this infusion here. And it's stretching, you know, your consciousness so that you can fulfill this shift that you're wanting to create. And here's the thing. For some of you, maybe opening a business where you're going to do something for other people that is more in alignment with the future. But to some of you, could be something as simple, which is not simple. Breaking through your family's paradigm of doing the same thing from generation to generation. And this could be something like, you know what? In my family, the women on my mother's side are used to being in marriages where the husband is not a very nice person and they didn't have the right to express their ideas. And they had to conform to that kind of relationships because that was what was expected socially in their times. Well, guess what now? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do for the first time what any of the women in my family have done before. And that could be quite a challenge for you if this is the case, because no one else has done it for a long time. And now you're going to do it. And that's just an example, right, that I'm doing. But ultimately, Libra, and this is what the oracles are saying, with this new moon in Cancer that we're going to have in the middle of this month, there's going to be a shift in energy where we're going to be working with a more feminine energy. We're going to be working with a divine feminine. Up to this point, we've been working with more of a masculine energy. That's going to change. And in the way you notice this dynamic is by working with the moon. And I started working with the moon about 2 years ago, where I really understood that the moon can tell us a lot about who we are. And it's true. So I'm not asking you to believe me firsthand. I'm just sharing with you what I've learned through the work that I do. And if you want to believe me, and then go for it. don't just jump into the gun of refusing to accept what I'm telling you. And I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm just asking you to investigate. Don't just do it for a day or for a week, blah, blah, blah. No, do it for a while in the way that I have, so that you can see that what I'm telling you, to some degree, is not off. It's not off. Anyways, it's all a point of view. So this particular moon is a powerful moon. In all calendars, talks about a day where there were ceremonies celebrated to connect us to the other side, and especially to our lineage on our mother's side. Well, in my personal opinion, I feel like this is one of those moons because it's also connected to the nodes, which to me is kind of like the astrological compass that tells us in which areas our collective is going to evolve versus, the need to reconcile, which sign, right? We also have that in our charts. There's always a sign that represents our evolution, and the other one represents our, what we need to reconcile. Well, right now that compass is moving and is changing direction. So for 2 years, the North Node was in Taurus, and the South Node was in Scorpio. Now the North Node on the 15th in that moon is going to change to Aries, and the South Node is going to change in your sign. And we know that your sign represents relationships. How do we work with other people, especially in our relationships? And that's the area, according to astrology right now, that we need to reconcile and make peace with. So in other words, what we're being asked to do is to make peace with the masculine energy, and for the masculine energy to make peace with the feminine energy, but not in the way that we've been doing it. And here's where, please don't kill the messenger, and don't judge me for what I'm going to say, because I'm saying it with the best of intentions. This movement, this feminine movement that we've had to help women regain status in society, it was great. But ultimately, what has changed into is women having the same rights to be like a man. I don't feel like that movement long term, it helped women to really vibrate and transmute the divine feminine energy. In this particular time, we've come a long way, and we still continue to have to go through some hardships to really get what's going on, because we're creatures of habits. It's very hard for us to change, even when we know we need to change, But we're, little by little, we're getting there. And it's probably going to take us another 100 years to get to a place where we're starting to really work at a level that it's more cohesive and it's more harmonious. But I feel like this particular moon is going to be sort of the doorway that is going to be the threshold in which we're going to enter into a frequency where we're going to be able to work in pairs, to work in couples, and to begin to really demonstrate that a woman is not better than a man and a man is not better than a woman, that the divine feminine needs to be protected by the divine masculine without being possessive, or the female being demanding, that support and protection is not about, what we think it is. And for the divine feminine, whether it's expressed by the male energy or the female, it has a different quality to the one that we are accustomed to transmute in this particular present. It's something more. And I'm not really going to get into that because it can take another hour of this reading, and that's not really the aim of this reading. But I just kind of want to take you there because I feel like your energy and your reading is very connected to that. And especially because I see in the heart of the reading the energy of Mother Earth. So there is a quality here about the change that you're about to make, or the change that you will be making, Libra, where it's going to be very loving. Maybe the shift for you may come in the weirdest way, because for you could be something like, you know what, I am ready to do something big, right? So you have this idea, I want to do something big. And you may be getting these ideas because you have an energy here that is represented by the secret spring, that I feel like it's a little bit of a trickster. There's spirit here working with you that is kind of playful and a little bit, it kind of like in the way that it's revealing information to you. Maybe a little confusing at times, or maybe esoteric, or maybe abstract. I don't know. But it's coming through your mind, right? It has this quality of Uranian energy. Pretty strange, pretty different. And it could be guiding you in a way that may be asking things of you that are not necessarily what you're used to doing. But the Oracle is saying that behind this energy, there is another energy that is revealing itself little by little. And it's coming through like this. The wise woman of the grove. So I feel like you could be connecting with some sort of guide or energy in a way that maybe what you think is going to be is not. I also see a very strong connection to indigenous energy. There's a lot of earth energy in this reading. And I feel like this particular entity or spirit that you may be working with your energies comes from the elemental world. You may think that it comes from, another dimension, or it's another frequency. And I feel like eventually you will come to terms that it's not what you thought it was. But it's the energy that you need in order to go through this transformation. Because here I feel like some of you, in the way that you're being guided, you may end up crashing, like hitting a wall, or like going through the dark night of the soul, having like a death, and a spiritual death. And it's going to come very sudden, where you're like, this is not what I expected. And in that moment, you may feel like you're drowning, maybe, like you're like, yeah, now what? But the cards are saying that there's going to be a rebirth, a very powerful rebirth. And that rebirth is very much connected, or is connecting you to your mother's side, to the lineage of the mom. This is really intense, Libra, because I feel like in the way the information is coming through, it's so abstract, it's so weird, and it just doesn't make sense. Very Uranian energy. It's the best that I can describe out of this. And I'm trying to do the best that I can in translating this information. And believe me, I'm just the translator here. So I don't know. I don't know if this makes sense to you or not. But there is a quality in your skills, because here it comes this term of exchanging energy to create abundance. So whatever is happening with your energies, with this idea of exchanging and upgrading, as difficult and as confusing it may get at some point, is what eventually is going to teach you how to also do that physically, because this is a trademark that you carry from your lineage, and it's very much connected to the mother, and it's also very connected to Pachamama, the energy of Mother Earth. I'm hoping that I'm doing justice with this information. So the oracles are specifically talking about the need to pay attention to the environment. Whatever situation you find yourself in, look at the environment. It's kind of like, how do we understand this? So imagine that you want to go on vacation and you want to climb a mountain. You need to pay attention to the weather. So when you're dealing with situations like this, you need to pay attention to your emotions. And here is where Spirit is saying, have you already learned to distinguish the difference between your energy center being open and closed? Because your heart center is that operating system that helps you connect to other dimensions, and it helps you connect with higher frequencies, and it helps you connect to the divine. When you are scared, feeling insecure, and working with these lower frequencies that are being represented by your wounds, your pain, your trauma, your energy center is closed. So your capacity to receive information is not there. So it's two different state of beings. And have you learned to work with your vehicle in that way? A lot of us haven't. And this is one of those moments where we need to recognize that all of our pain and traumas represent lower frequencies. And our emotional body carries all of that energy. And if you notice, Libra, energy is moving really quickly in our reality right now. And the best operating system to work with that speed is our heart. It does not mean that you cannot, analyze situations, but if you take too much time analyzing those situations, believe me, you're going to get stuck. You're going to feel like you're being dragged by the hair. So when energy is moving faster in the sphere that you live in, you have to catch up. It's kind of like working with new technology. I don't know if I said this before, but I'm repeating it anyways, because sometimes I forget if I repeat something. But anyways, so right now, energy in our planet is moving faster. And we are inside this sphere, and we're also moving faster. And that means that we're going to have to operate from another energy center, or we have to find that energy center that will allow us to decipher energy more efficiently. And the only energy center that I know that can do that is your heart center. Because emotionally, we know right away when a vibration is a good frequency that supports the functioning of our vehicle and when it's not. And this is not a time to overload this vehicle. So we're used to doing that by remembering and holding in all of the experiences that we have had that have been awful. We have to let them go. For those of you who may be energy hungry, I want more and more and more and more and more. You can't do that to your vehicle. It overburdens your vehicle. If you don't put into practice the information and the knowledge that you're given, you're not going to be given more. So for those of you who are really hungry for power and information and knowledge and wisdom and all of that, and you want more and more and more just so that you can, like a hungry child can hold to all of that, it's just not going to happen. And these are, that's why you probably, I used to wonder, how come the spiritual people that knew so much. A lot of them are so sick. We get sick by carrying so much information and not letting that energy flow through our energies, through our veins. Okay, Libra. So, now that I've vomited all that I had to tell you, let's get into tarot and let's check your finances. So let's check finances for Libras. So one thing that I do, Libra, in my readings is that I use the same oracle cards that came out for the Spanish audience, even though sometimes the messages can change. Sometimes a little bit, sometimes a lot. You know, I'm not trying here to repeat what I said to, you know, what I said in my video before to the Spanish speakers. And I do pick new cards, tarot cards, because I'm being asked to do that. Okay? All right, Spirit. So let's check finances for Libra. Finances for Libra. What's going on in this cycle with Libra's finances? 10 of Wands, Lovers, 9 of Cups, 4 of Swords, and 8 of Cups. Well, Libra, I see you moving away or wanting to move on from... It's kind of like you have reached this point where you know that in order for you to do better, you're going to have to move on and really follow your heart and do the things that you really want. And I feel like some of you are going to do that. So maybe you're in a job where you feel kind of stuck and you feel like you're not going to get the recognition or the, you know, financial support to do better. And I see you guys moving on. There is a proposition you're going to get where you may sit with it and it looks at first like a really good proposition, but I feel like you're being pulled in a different direction. Yeah. Oh yeah. So some of you are, you know, somebody's going to come and it's going to make a proposition about a job or some sort of, you know, idea or of business or whatever, but I feel like you're going to think about it and then you're going to decide to move away from it. And the oracle is saying that moving away from this situation is going to be good, not right away, long term, because for a little bit there you're going to feel stuck, you're going to feel discouraged, because if you refuse this situation, for some of you, it may mean that you may have to stay a little bit longer where you're at. But eventually, you're going to get out of it. It may take a little bit for you, Libra, but eventually you may get out of it. Okay, so let's check love. And let's look into this single Libra and see what's coming for love. What's going on with the love department for Libra? I'm just hearing this voice is saying nothing. I don't know about that, but we'll see what the tarot says. Okay, love for my Libras. It could be true for some of you where you're just like, I don't have time for that. Woo, Libra. Well, if you have somebody in mind, and I see someone here that you have very high regards, there's someone that you're thinking about, Libra. I'm connecting specifically with a Libra that does know somebody in particular where you think that they have a potential, and this person, I feel like, is not ready. It's not ready for you. So you may have somebody in mind, Libra, that you like, but this person is not really ready for you right now. For those Libras that would like to get someone who can complement you spiritually, Um, I feel like there's still some work you need to do. So if you kind of feel down and kind of what's the word that I'm trying to find? You feel kind of disappointed. If you feel disappointed because by now you have expected to meet someone and nothing has happened, the cards here are saying that instead of feeling disappointed, overcome that disappointment. There's more work to do with your energies. You have to work with your energies more. They're also signaling a time of a full moon. And we're going to have a full moon August 1st. That's the next full moon. And it's going to be in Aquarius. All right, we'll continue. Now let's look into the Libra who is in a relationship. See what's going on with that Libra. I love doing these readings. I really do, Libra. I really enjoy how these energies come through. It's just amazing, you know. And when I see the numbers, how they speak and how they connect, it's really quite fascinating. Okay, with the Libra in relationships. Well, I feel like I'm connecting to Libras that are having a little bit of difficulties feeling stable. And you may be thinking, you know, what do I need to do in order to get a little bit more stable in my relationship? We're trying to increase. We're trying to increase stability, you know, like more connection with the Queen of Pentacles. I feel like, you know, some of you might have gotten into some sort of dispute in which created some sort of tension, and you kind of been waiting to see what happens. Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel like maybe some of you might have separated from your partner, and you're kind of waiting to see if this person is going to come back and what kind of attitude they're going to have. I see the Hangman here. Let's see what's going to happen here. Whew. Well, Libra, there is a temptation here, right? So somebody cares for you, and this person cares for you, this partner. They want to come back, but I feel like in the meantime, they're working on themselves. And again, keep in mind all of this influence of cosmic energy that is going on. So this person, this could be you too, may need some time to sort of purge and release a lot of these emotional negativity or insecurities that they have. There could be some disagreements here about finances. It's all going to be okay. It's not going to happen right away, but eventually it's all going to work out, and it may very well be connected to the full moon of August. So I'm hearing maybe a month or two, but this person is going to need some time, or you may need some time. I feel like it's more of your person. It's going to need some time to take, you know, to do some of, you know, like letting go. Because the Wheel of Fortune comes in with the Queen of Cups and the Two of Cups. I feel like some of you are dealing with a Virgo, water sign, Scorpio, Cancer. It's a lot of Cancerian energy here, and also Earth energy. In your reading, there's so much energy, Earth energy, that is incredible. And you are air element, but there's a lot of Earth energy here. Also fire. There's some fire too. All right, Libra, let's just hear the advice of the Oracle. What advice do you have for Libra? What advice do you have for my Libras? For my Libras? What advice do you have for Libra? What advice? Ooh, dropping the burden. Dropping the expectations. And it's going to take some time. Have patience with yourself, but you need to drop the burden. You have to drop the expectations, and ultimately it's going to make you feel better. It's a lot of, yeah. I'm being told that don't let yourself be influenced so much by what other people say. So there may be a situation here where, Libra, you may go and talk to someone and hear advice from that person, and then you go to somebody else and do the same, and then you hear advice from that person, and you kind of trying to figure it out and using a little bit of everybody. And sometimes that can create confusion. Trying to accommodate everybody because you see how, these people are sharing with you information about you that is valuable to you. But here's the thing. When you work with your inner being, that inner being is going to be very specific. You may feel insecure. You may be doubting your inner being, and instead you're listening from other people. It's more physical, it's more tangible than sort of following your instincts. So this could be a habit that you have that now you need to break, and it's something that has to do with your lineage. So the Oracle is saying, hey, have more faith in yourself. Be patient in the process, but have more faith in you. Take a chance and pay less attention to what other people have to say. Just follow your heart. And that's what I got for you, Libra. I'm sorry that it took me a little bit too long to share all this information, but this is my style. Remember, you can always pause the video. So not an issue, not a problem, okay? Namaste. Thank you, Libra, and good luck.